Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers. It always sounds funny when I say that. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. It's 4 a.m. bright and early here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I'm off to an early start because, yes, I am going to have brunch with my mom and my whole family this morning. All right. So I'm going through my news sources this morning, and I come across the New York Post. And the article just baffles me. The link is down below, and for this one, I'd love for you guys to read this one. The link is down below, New York Post. It basically says Biden is failing the nation when it comes to COVID-19 vaccinations, getting people vaccinated. So of course, Biden just crossed the 100-day mark, and his goal was 100 million people vaccinated, and he overshot it by 100 million. He got over 200 million people vaccinated. So of course, I'm like, what kind of conservative claptrap are they pushing now? So I read through it. And immediately, of course, as you guys are probably thinking right now, okay, New York Post is owned by Rupert Murdoch. It's a conservative, trashy, conservative magazine or newspaper. Rupert Murdoch also owns Fox News with Tucker Carlson. For the last good 2 weeks, Tucker Carlson every other day has been pushing these anti-mask, anti-vax. He in one particular show just last week, he talked about, he overestimated fatalities, reports. There's one website that reports, as random, unfiltered reports of what people are talking about the COVID-19 vaccination and what they might have suffered, side effects from it. One person wrote, he turned into the Green Hulk. Okay? This the Incredible Hulk. All right, this is what Tucker Carlson is using for his information. Okay, and so it way overestimates the side effects of the COVID-19 vaccination. And so Tucker Carlson. So on one hand, Rupert Murdoch owns both these conservative news outlets. One hand, they're saying, Biden is not doing enough to convince people of the safety. And on the other hand, they're saying the safety, they're hiding the side effects. Is this safe? We have to ask these questions. We don't think it's as safe as you guys are saying. Maybe we shouldn't get vaccinated. So I'm like, so I look at these two. How can this be? This is ridiculous. These people are idiots, right? But I'm like, wait a minute. The term, this is what I thought, crazy like a fox, right? Fox News, crazy like a fox. I'm like, wait a minute, they can't be that. There's got to be something deeper here. So I read the New York Post article over and over. Now, I thought about this. The average conservative, I don't know what the average conservative person, if he reads both the New York Post and watches Fox News, because if he does, he's getting two completely conflicting messages from the same basic news media outlet. Now, doesn't that force questions? I know that conservatives can't be that willfully ignorant to realize there's conflicting messages. So I started thinking about that. I was like, wait a minute, what if there's two different demographics that are basically watching this? Then that would make sense. So we have basically older Caucasian viewers, so a lot of my family, or some of my family, my older family members, watch Sean Hannity exclusively, and I still try to tell her that she's being brainwashed, right? Okay, so that's the basic demographic there. So they're saying, because that group is getting, the older people are getting vaccinated. So Tucker Carlson is saying, wait a minute, it might not be that safe. But the New York Post, I thought about that. When I used to drive a truck, before I knew a lot about politics, and I would take lunch, I like to read during lunch. So I looked at my offerings. I'd be down in Manhattan or Queens or Brooklyn, and I'd like to read. So I would look to see what I could read for lunch. A lot of times I would pick the New York Post. This is before I knew what kind of conservative trash they were. And the New York Times looked kind of boring. I wanted something I could read fast, flashy articles that I could read during lunch that would entertain me as I ate, 15, 20 minutes. So I would pick the New York Post. So, I thought about that, urban working people. And of course, yes, there's a lot of African Americans in New York City probably reading the New York Post. So as I read the New York Post article, it talked specifically about African Americans. It talked about how Joe Biden, it talks about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And it took him to task for the federal government for taking it, for pulling it for 11 days, because out of millions of vaccinations, or 1 million vaccinations, there were 6 or 7 instances of possible blood clots. So to be on the safe side, they pulled it back for 11 days. And this article took them to task for that, which is the exact opposite of what Tucker Carlson was saying on his show. He was pushing it, saying they should take this off the market. Is it safe? So this is ridiculous. But they went on to say that when Johnson & Johnson went back on the market, what was Biden talking about? Well, he was talking about racial equity and all this other stuff, when he should have been instilling confidence in the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, especially when African Americans are the main group that aren't getting vaccinated, that are weary of the vaccine. So I started looking into this, and I'm like, wait a minute. And it brings up African Americans several times in the article. And I was like, I see what's going on here. The New York Post is centering on the urban audience, African American and Caucasian Americans in New York City that are reading this, saying Biden's not doing enough to save you guys. He's pushing this fake race narrative when he should be making sure that you guys get vaccinated, making sure that instilling confidence in you, to get you guys vaccinated. He doesn't care about you guys. And on the flip side, it's mainly older Caucasian watching Fox. So on that show, it's the opposite. Is this safe? Biden doesn't care about you. He's not telling you all the side effects. Crazy like a fox. I knew there was something, when you look at something like this, and it just looks stupid. It's stupid. They're giving out 2 different views. You got to think. You got to, are people really, people aren't that stupid. The people that make Rupert Murdoch isn't foolish. The people that read the New York Post aren't foolish. But then it all came to light when I thought about this. Are the same people watching Fox News that are reading the New York Post? And I'm sure there's some, but it's 2 different demographics. Let me tell you this one other thing too. The New York Post quoted Biden, and he did talk about convincing people of the safety of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, contrary to what the New York Post article said. And he said, what Biden basically said was he wants to make sure that all 3 vaccines are available in case people have, so there's people have 100% unquestionable confidence in at least one of them. If they're weary of Johnson & Johnson, they'll take Pfizer or vice versa. He used the word unquestionable. So they have unquestionable confidence. The New York Post took him to task for the word unquestionable. What? Is Joe Biden did he actually use that word? He's telling people to question the vaccine? Is he crazy? What? He doesn't care about African Americans? You got to read this article. They took his quote on saying that he wants the American public to have 100% unquestionable confidence, unquestionable, quote. And they pulled that word, turned it around, and said that he's making people question the vaccines. Wow. Crazy like a fox. Man. All right. Make sure you guys read the article. The link's down below. Have a great Mother's Day.